Welcome back to Homeowner Talk, and joining us now, along with Craig Huntington, is Pat Taylor. Pat is the CEO of Taylor Association Management, and she's also the rose among the thorns at this table today. And she's going to be talking with us on the importance of banking matters for homeowners associations. Pat, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we appreciate you being with us. Would you tell our viewers a little bit about your background, especially with homeowners associations and management?
Sure. I just came into the industry in 1990, and I went to work for my brother who owned Taylor Association Management at the time. I started as a receptionist, bookkeeping. I did every job in the office. And in 1998, I purchased the company from him and have owned it now for 12 years or 11 years. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We know that Pat does a great deal in our industry. We're appreciative to her. Maybe you can just tell our viewers, in a homeowners association, how many accounts, banking accounts, would an association normally have?
Well, at least two, an operating for their checking daily needs and a savings account, which they would typically use for their reserves, a liquid, typically liquid. And then if they have any excess, they may want to open CDs to earn extra interest and have that money available when they need it. But it's specifically set apart from the operating funds on the balance sheet and in the accounts.
So in a lot of ways, it's like you and I. We have a checking account that we run our daily expenditures, pay your bills through, and maybe a savings account, which I guess the association calls a reserve account, right, that they save for the major components.
Correct.
Who are the signers on these accounts? Does management sign on the accounts?
Sometimes, if the board wishes that, and it will require two signatures on all accounts now, operating and reserves. Sometimes it's two board members, and sometimes the board wants the management company to be one of the signers, simply for expedient purposes.
Right. So in an operating account, the management company can be one of the two signers, whereas on the reserve account, we just stick with our board members and let them sign it.
Correct.
I'm a little curious, just kind of a nuts and bolts type question. You pick up a new association and they're not using Craig's Bank, for example, and you want to switch over to Craig's Bank, for example. You might have some board members that say, you know what, it's complicated, we got to go to the bank and sign all these things and wait for a check. Can you just walk us through the process if we have an association that's watching us now and they want to make a switch? How easy or difficult is it to do that?
It's actually very easy. The bank has furnished us with signature cards, so basically we would just take the signature card to the board meeting and have the board sign it, and we would need to submit that with a copy of their articles of incorporation, and essentially the account is open with an opening deposit from the previous bank.
And do you need a board resolution for that?
That's included on the signature card.
Oh, isn't that convenient? Yeah.
I thought that was a big improvement, because that's something I must be dealing with the wrong banks, because they keep asking for minutes of meetings. I'm thinking this makes it so much easier.
Yeah, it's very easy to do.
Well, John, it gets back to the fact that some banks are very specialized in this. And for example, we are at Bank of Nevada very specialized, and we have these signature cards specifically for homeowners associations. Nobody else can use them. They're just for the homeowners associations.
And the other nice thing about the signature card is one card serves all purposes for all the accounts they may want to open at that bank, so they don't have to be continually signing new signature cards for each CD they want to open.
And if they change board members, new signature card does all the accounts too, at all 5 banks. All the accounts at all 5 banks that they might have.
That's convenient.
Very convenient.
Yep.
I know, Pat, you work with many associations in this valley and teach and train a lot of their board members. What are some of the things you tell them if you were looking to select a bank? What are some of the things that you think are important characteristics of that bank or traits?
Well, of course, in this day and age, customer service is number one. Reliability of the bank and their history. And in fact, it's nice if they offer a lockbox system, which is a way that homeowners make their payments and it gets automatically credited to the association's account. And their account, it's updated on a daily basis. If not, then they would, if they offer a courier service to pick up daily. And I know Craig's Bank has a scanning service, a machine that we put in our office, and any checks that come into our office that don't go to the bank to the lockbox, we can scan that day and again get immediately credited to the association's account.
So that's especially important in this day and age when a lot of associations are having financial problems. So if they can get instant access to those checks, that would make a huge difference.
Yeah,
I would
well,
think.
Before the show, Pat and I were talking about the old days when I first met Pat, and that was a long time ago, and they would just go once a week. They'd take all the deposits once a week to the bank. So those checks were actually sitting on a desk for 5 or 6 or 7 days in some instances. And now, again, remember, homeowners associations get interest on their checking accounts, which is very unusual for, they're nonprofits, so they get interest. And so to get that money in the bank right away, then the association makes a little extra money.
Better both for the association, make the money better for the homeowner if they know their account's been credited and updated quicker. So that's really good.
What are some of the, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
It's good.
What are some of the big, you've been in the management business, community management business for almost 20 years now. What are some of the biggest changes that you've seen over the years with respect to banking? You already mentioned the courier, which is probably the biggest deal, so you're not running to the bank once a week. What are some of the other changes that you've seen over?
Well, the ease of the signature cards and the lockbox system, which initially I balked at personally. Craig knows this because it's the control thing, you know, and I just didn't want the checks to go to the bank, and I had no idea what was going to happen to them. But once I let go of that, and it proved to be a wonderful service, not only to us but to the homeowners and the associations, then I relented on my
on your control.
And she calls it control. I call it conscientious. She's this person who always wanted to make sure things was doing well. Craig, you also prepared another graphic I'd like to have him put up on the screen. You talked a little bit about some of the products, the bank products that you put together that when you're working with associations and with management companies. I thought maybe you could walk through some of these for our viewers again.
You bet. Well, like I said before, John, a homeowners association being a nonprofit can get interest on all their accounts, including their checking account. So we have what we call our Super Now checking, and you get interest on that account. Most corporations, well, all corporations, cannot get interest on their checking, but nonprofits can. And a lot of banks don't understand that homeowners associations are nonprofits, so they get interest on their checking account. We have special rates for money market accounts and great rates for CDs. And again, these are all with one signature card, so it's very easy for them to open up accounts. You don't have to run around to open up new accounts. Pat just sends us an email, boom, we open the account. Very simple to be done. The excess deposit insurance through Cedars, the $1.25 million FDIC insurance, which we talked about, which is very important for large associations. You need to have all your money insured. The no-hassle signature cards, which we talked about, and of course the loans. One thing I did want to talk a little bit about was also what Pat talked about in today's world, the lockbox. By using a lockbox like at Bank of Nevada, homeowners can go on and pay their assessments with a credit card or with an e-check. And in today's environment, with a lot of assessments being delinquent and what David has to do, David sees this.
I'm not sure I like this idea, but go ahead.
Homeowners can go on and pay their assessments with a credit card. And this helps with the cash flow of the association, and it's just a really good tool for the management company to use when it comes to delinquent homeowners.
We only got a few minutes left. Just a couple of quick things. First off, laddering of your investment, laddering your your CDs. Maybe you could describe for our viewers how you can set up your portfolio so that these are coming due on different times.
Sure, and that's a really great service, and the boards really love this feature, where a suggestion where we can take a lump sum of money, divide it in 4 parts, and set up 4 CDs, one with a 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month maturity rates, and they're all earning the 12-month rate regardless of the time. And that way they can have access to the money, that portion of the money, every 3 months in case something comes up but they have a reserve expenditure. So it's really a great service, and the boards really like it.
The great part about it is the typical best interest rate at a bank is the 1-year CD. So in this scenario with the 3, 6, 9, and 12, our bank will give you the 12-month rate on all 4 of the CDs, and then when the 3-month matures, we roll into a 1-year CD. But so every 90 days, the association could add or take money out of that CD, but earn maximum interest rate.